Guys, Luna here with the Artisan Tarot. Hello. I know I look probably a little bit different. Sorry, my hair is growing out. I need to go get it cut. And so like I used my little Velcro rollers. So my hair is looking a little bit different. I didn't straighten it like I would at the crinkly pieces at top, but who cares? I don't. But I gotta say, my hair looks really good though, like out of the rollers. But besides hair, let's go ahead and talk about 5 books that I recommend if you're wanting to start to work with Aphrodite. Now, I know I talked about the other day the my top reasons why you would want to work with Aphrodite. If you have not seen that video, go down to my YouTube channel and watch it because I definitely recommend it. I also have other Aphrodite tools from my personal relationship of how I've learned to work with the goddess a little bit differently. But I love as an intellectual because I am an art historian. I actually do have an art history and criticism degree, as well as a minor in classical studies and ancient cultures. I love to read. I love to investigate. It's the Scorpio in me. And I always love to provide people with resources that are not just like, how do I say it? Like fluff and woo. Okay. If you really want to build, and this is with any deity work, and this is because I have worked with several deities because they've chosen me or they've shown me they want to work with me, and I'm open to that. Okay. So I'm just putting that out there. If you feel called and you're not sure if you want to build a relationship, maybe sometimes the signs and syncreties show up in research when we're doing research when working with deities. And I actually found 5 books that I definitely would recommend as an intellectual when working with this goddess because it's interesting. So just to give you guys a little bit of background, when I started working with Aphrodite, it's not how most people think how it starts, especially because when I'm these books I could not find several years ago. Let's see, I started working with her in like 2019, but I wasn't like a devotee. I wasn't a priestess. I wasn't anything like that. I was just doing readings. I was just everybody as a psychic professional psychic medium on the psychic hotlines at the time were coming to me constantly. I was like the #1 rated like love and romance coach on the lines. I didn't quite understand it myself. But I was excellent at it. And I was like, okay, then if this is why people are coming to me, then I want to start to really work with a deity who's going to help ground these readings a little bit better, just not just for me but for my clients, so they can not only have the accurate information that spirit is delivering, but a deity that will help guide them on the correct path for their love and romance life. Because for those of you who read tarot, you understand we're going to hear things that we don't want to hear. And when that happens, usually the reading ends up manifesting anyway. So I always wanted to connect with a love and romance deity to help ground my readings down and say, okay, well, if it doesn't work out, here's the practical advice this energy is going to give. So that way the client doesn't feel at the end of the day that they are empty, basically, from their reading, because the bad thing happened, salt hit the open wound is kind of how it feels. And this is because I've also had it happen to me as a reader. So before I started reading like 20 years ago, I've been reading since 2006. So in terms of tarot and astrology and divination and other forms of divination, so that's how long my journey has been. That being said, when I started working with Aphrodite, it was more or less about just helping my clients. It wasn't actually for me. And that's the funny part. It was not for me at all. It was mainly for them. And then it evolved into where I didn't work like ritual on the 3D plane. I didn't do anything. All of my practices I have had to create on my own. And my course that I give you guys on the mini altar training for Aphrodite that I have down in the description box below, I give you my practices, my how-tos, my here's how I did it, here's how it works, this is why, yada yada, you know, because I had to go through my own type of initiation with her on learning how to do this stuff on my own, no resources. So I had to go completely off of what I knew as a scholar. And I had to go completely off of what was given to me at the time, which was pretty much all of my scholarly work from when I was a student and when I graduated with my undergrad. So as I was getting my undergrad as well, my degree. So I had to kind of go based off that. So the books that I'm going to recommend, I actually read through reviews. I am going to be adding probably all 5 of these into my, not just my library, but incorporate them into my life. And as well as, you know, I'm still a romance coach. So I will definitely be adding these into my romance coaching and most likely my everyday practices as well, because when you start to work with Aphrodite, even if you're just working with her from a coaching standpoint, it eventually ends up, she helps you to like work on yourself in terms of relationships that you didn't think was possible. And that's the part that I think I was so unfazed by and surprised by at the same time. And then it's kind of funny because these are all like 3D practical type of ways of working with her, which for me is a little bit different because the work that I did with her was more like in the dream realm and astral realm. It's a little bit different. It's not like every day here. No, it would happen when I would dream. It would happen when I would sleep, that kind of stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the 5 book recommendations, top 5 book recommendations. I will be adding these to my library. When working with Aphrodite or developing a relationship. Now, the very first book, Aphrodite, The Origins and History of the Greek Goddess of Love. Oh, and I have the links through these all down in the description box below. Don't worry about that. This is actually, it is an extensive history of the goddess. It is extremely detailed, and this is according to several reviews I read as well, from people who actually bought the book, that this is a highly detailed history and origins of the goddess, but it is a short book. So if you would like a short read, this one's for you. And apparently, and this is actually quoted from one of the reviewers, the bibliography is extensive and useful, which for anyone who is doing any classical work or classical studies work, or you are a graduate or undergrad and you're having to write a paper on this kind of stuff, I would recommend this book just because of the bibliography alone. With that many sources, that would, if you're doing research of some kind, that will definitely help you. And even if you're not, it's good to still read from these other sources as well, that from what we can find. So the second book is Venus and Aphrodite, a biography of desire. Now, this book is interesting, and the reason I picked it was because there were 2 reviews that kind of really piqued my interest. And remember how in the first intro video when I said working with Aphrodite, what is she like? Where did she start from? When the Greeks assimilated her? If you haven't seen that video, you need to check it out. And how she eventually evolved into Venus, aka the Roman deity of love and romance. This book talks about that evolution, and I'm kind of like excited to actually see this because it does go into, it says, and I quote, the darker Venus, a violent, vengeful, shape-shifting Venus. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Venus being a little bit catty, at times she is violent and vengeful. You have not read The Golden Jackass. It is an actual text that was, I believe it was way after Homer. It was around like the time that the Metamorphoses came out by Ovid. And I actually have read The Golden Jackass, like from stanza to stanza. It's online. I have found it online for free. And it does show that side of her. And the story is actually, The Golden Jackass is based on Cupid and Psyche. or physique, which is if you're not familiar, it's when Eros decided he was going to do his mom's work. Long story short, shoot a girl with an arrow of ugly. Then he fell in love with her because he accidentally got pricked by his own arrow. And then she got spirited away by Zephyr again. And I say the Zephyr again because if you do the mini training, you're going to hear me talk about Zephyr in there, who is the god of the wind. He takes Psyche to this mountain. Everybody thinks she died. It's like super dramatic. But remember, these are plays. This was a Greco-Roman play. So you have to kind of keep that in mind of the level of drama we're telling here. But it's actually one of my favorite Greek myths because this is the story of how Cupid ends up taking a wife and how Venus and Apollo actually gives a prophecy in there about Physique's future in-law, that she will be marrying into a family with a great monster. And it's actually Aphrodite because she's so vengeful and full of rage. Not just at the fact that Psyche is marrying her son and it was done in secret and all that kind of stuff, but because humans wanted to replace Venus with Psyche. Like they thought she was like a living embodiment of her and brought her like gifts and pretty much worshipped her like a goddess. So this is kind of interesting because it kind of, the reason I picked this book is because it does go into these type of dynamics that there's not much there. Like it's there in the Greek myth, but it's not always talked about in terms of working with Aphrodite and what she's like. But I mean, when I've worked with her, I've had nothing but positive experiences with her, but I also don't do anything to like piss her off. That's what I would say. I don't do things to intentionally make her mad. But so you remember she was also a goddess of civil law and order. So like I try to keep that relationship with her, if that makes any sense. But that's also my nature. But if you have a different nature or you're curious to understand, okay, well, why was it like this? It also goes back to those roots to Ishtar, which I like. So this is why I kind of recommend this. And also, according to one of the reviews, it says traces the roots back to Ishtar based in scholar, excellent for Aphrodite followers, according to one review, is what I notated down. And this book has praise from the Times and the BBC History magazine, which I think is pretty cool. So Pagan Portals has another book. This is book 3, Aphrodite, Encountering the Goddess of Love and Beauty and Initiation. Now this, I wish I had found this when I started working with Aphrodite in 2019, because technically I started working with her in 2018, but it was for a personal reason. It was like by chance. I'll talk about that in another video. It just kind of happened. But it was her personal thing. It wasn't solely for clients at that time. So the reason, and or my own personal like growth and all of that. So the Pagan Portals book is a little bit different because this talks about initiation. This is written by a priestess. And this is, from my understanding and based on the reviews that I've read, and I read like 3 to 5 top, kind of reviews here from when the book came out, is it's more of like a personal hands-on experience with Aphrodite, but there are not many scholarly references. So I will say, if you are going to get this book, please make sure to get one of the scholarly references on this list, just so that way you have a frame of reference and you're understanding what exactly you're working with, or who you're working with, or how you would like to work with it in the frame of reference with this priestess's book. It was also apparently quite short as well. But the priestess that wrote the book has more hands-on experience day to day working with the goddess, which I actually like, because my experience is very different than most of the priestesses on here in their books that are listed. Now, the 4th book, Aphrodite's Priestess, by Lorelei, I believe it's Lorelei Black. I might have said her name wrong. If I said your name wrong, I'm sorry. But I do recommend her book because this is more for the advanced follower, for the priestess. or those who want to go past initiation and are willing to dedicate themselves to the priestess. This dives deep into rituals that can be practiced daily. This also goes into, again, that dark and light side of the goddess, because as I stated, she was originally, and she showed up in Sparta. So if you, again, watch the intro video that I did to her, it's on it's at the bottom of the channel. And the last book that I recommend is The Cult of Aphrodite, Rites and Festivals of the Golden One. Now, this is a very, according to several of the reviews, very well researched, easy rituals and religious. It says easy rituals. Now, this also includes religious festivals in honor of, and this is a quote from one of the reviewers, a single Hellenistic deity, drawing on resources that span the ancient world from, I think this is Black and from the, I don't exactly quite understand what they were trying to say here, but it has to do with the cult of Aphrodite and hysteria. So this is actually like direct from what they found in hysteria, based on most likely digs. And if they didn't find anything through digs, it would have been written on, like, scribed on a piece of stone or something like that. Present, let's see, immediately usable tools for worshiping the goddess. Now, this is interesting because if you are past the point and you've dedicated yourself, this is I would say a book that I would highly recommend, just because it goes down to the days, the week, the ritual. It gives you most likely instructions on ritual. Now, as far as what rituals, that is per book. The books are going to be different. I actually am going to hopefully be doing a live on sex magic on Valentine's Day. If I can't do it on Valentine's Day, I will go ahead and record it and then share it with you guys. I've been trying to do a live. It was going to be a training, like a mini training session. But that just didn't work out. It may not work out according to my schedule, because I have been rather busy lately. So if I can't, it's going to be recorded, and I will have that uploaded to my page where my mini altar, what's it called? The course, because I have also a bonus course too that I'm working on. It's 5 tools working with Aphrodite. And then I also have that. And then I have that plus the bonus, which is a guide on how to work with lilac and what you would use it for while working with Aphrodite. So just so people are aware of how that works, how it is going to work, all that kind of stuff. And then there's the sex magic bit, and there's other parts to it. I may end up doing a 3 package, because I actually am going to create a video that is a course now, where it's like how to incorporate the goddess into your home, because these are actually things that I did. How to work with her, all that kind of stuff, how to bring her every day into your life and whatnot. So it's a 3-step, my top 3 ways to bring Aphrodite into your home. That will be a course available down in the description box below. But I did want to go ahead and let you guys know these are the 5 books I would recommend. If you guys liked my witch's brew mug, I have the link for that down in the description box below. Same for my makeup. If you guys would like my makeup, I will leave that down in the description box below for you. Other than that, I'm gonna dip out. I will see you all soon. Make sure to join my email list. And if you would like to fix your love and romance life tarot reading, oracle card reading, go ahead and sign up on the wait list in the description box down below. I will go ahead and start listing dates on when I am open to take those readings. Aside from that, I still have 3 and 6 session coaching, like romance coaching packages. They are on sale, 50% off until Valentine's Day. So other than that, I love you all so very much. I will talk to you later. I will see you soon. Bye, guys.